work from Paul, who made our beautiful food, and thank you. So our group that creates this is myself, Paul, Patricia, Nicholson Parker, and Daryl.
Yeah.
And Curtis McDonald. Where's Curtis? There we go. But quickly, the reason why one of the reasons, and I promised everybody I would not go on for too long, so very to the point, is that we wanted to create some evenings together that we could have a chance to kind of re-plug into the importance of the quality of our listening and the quality of the way we act, our actions, that our actions mean something. And, why do something unless it's going to help other people to be happier, no? So we created these salons to give a platform for music and art forms that require a certain amount of a certain quality and a certain attitude of mind, which is what I was talking with Patricia about. It's something that's not really, you can't really Google it. It's a certain way of looking at the world and approaching things. For myself, I wanted to have a chance to keep asking myself and gather people around that I thought were mindful and would want to ask this question as well, which is like, can the words and actions you do change the world around you? And how do we do that? And what is our practice? And so I use these as a chance to remind us how important it is, the audience, that it doesn't exist without the audience. And so some of this will be new to you, and I just hope that you can enjoy it. But I would like Patricia to introduce Kumar, who we are featuring today, and I just very quickly we'll just get to Miriam. I did not do a great job today.
It's a little early to critique it. A little space, time.
Thank you, Miriam Parker. Her unrelenting idealism and her wholehearted sincerity about trying to be mindful in this work.
Yes.
And all of you, I thank you, and I'll try to be brief. I started Arts for Art, the Vision Festival, about 20 years ago. We put on an evolving music series. We have a Latin Free Jazz, which have recently started. That's an annual Latin Free Jazz event, because Latin jazz isn't always just the same old. Everyone keeps on shopping for the same thing. The things keep on evolving, but it's not just evolving through time. It's evolving internally and spiritually, and I think that's what Miriam was talking about with the mindfulness. It's really not going just for what's the newest and the latest, but what's the most profound place inside of us. And we've been presenting musicians that we think are really have lived an uncompromised creative existence. They're not perfect people, but close to it. No, they take their work in this world seriously, and so it is my pleasure, and I'm very excited for you to hear Cooper Moore, who is a pianist and also plays many instruments. All of the other instruments are instruments that he has made himself. And he has a rich, beautiful history, and he's going to share just a little bit of that with you later. But Cooper Moore.
Thank you, Patricia. The instrument is a diddly bow. It's one string. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of the piano. You know, the piano has a lot of hammers inside. Well, the first piano was like this, with people playing with sticks. an upright D. It's an upright D string.
Okay.
I think Wim Parker gave it. No. I think I stole the string from Sam Ash. they had, it's true, because they had, bass strings cost a lot of money. So you can get, cheap strings or you can get the expensive strings. And I said, well, I really want expensive string. So I put the expensive string in the cheap string. I didn't really steal it. I paid something for it. But I had a need, Who said steal this book? Who was that? Abby Hoffman?
Abby Hoffman.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Any more questions?
How do you get so much out of one string? So much.
Well, because my thinking about it is that in the beginning is the one, and out of the one comes everything else. I mean, you know that the string is just it's a metaphor for my life, because you know that all the overtones, all the harmonics come out of the one string. And my philosophy is that every tone that exists is in this string, if you can put enough energy to vibrate the string, because all those overtones that come out of it start beating against one another and create other tones and other overtones. So it doesn't matter what one you have, everything is inside of each and every one. Yeah. You have a question?
Oh no, I'm signaling for a friend of mine to come over so he can hear you better.
Yeah, you better ask me more questions.
So tell us more about the overtones and how it really works, the ratios. You just did one really cool thing, which was
Yes, that's really important because, Pythagoras in the Western world, he was a Greek 2,500 years ago, he gave us the Western world of philosophy. But he and his contemporaries said, well, it doesn't come from us because, we go to school and we learned that the Greeks were the fathers of our civilization. But when you read the Greeks, they say, go to Africa. Okay, and when you go to Alexandria, where the library was, or wherever they were, that's where all the knowledge was. So, out of the one, your question again with the overtones?
The harmonics and the overtones.
Yes. Now, that's important because, again, you have this one string, and you go half the distance between here and here, get the octave. Okay. You go 2/3 the distance between here, ratio of 2 to 3 or 3 to 2, you get the fifth above that one. So you get the whole string, the one half, 2/3, 3/4, on up and on up. And all of the rhythms come from. All of the rhythms. So you beat, where's Michael Wimby? So Michael Wimby plays djembe. Okay, so I was selling my keyboard, okay, and I put it up on Craigslist for sale. So this Senegalese guy said, I want it. I said, so he said, how much do you want? I said, $100. He said, I'll give you 50. Does it sound Senegalese?
That's Senegalese.
So he came and he saw the djembe, and so I was teaching him about the ratios of the drummers, like 2 against 3. And 3 against 4. Or, depending upon whether you're thinking 3 or thinking 4. And so when I went, he named a god. And when I went, he named another god. I know. But it can get even deeper than that. I mean, it can take you away. It can take you away when you start playing. Thinking can take you away, but when you start playing these rhythms and letting them get into your body, they will take you away. You don't need to drink wine and smoke dope. And all of us, okay. So you got, in Europe they were dealing with, 1 against 2. You got 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1 against 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. But in Africa, they were going 2 against 3. Okay, or 3 against 4. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they were thinking. So we grew up in a culture in the Western world where they say all those Africans are primitives. They're using the same ratios, the same numbers that Europeans were using, or the Indians and the Hindus were in India, the subcontinent. The same numbers, okay? They had a whole nother thing. It wasn't just, they said, look at them niggas just throwing their bodies around. Well, sometimes the two's down there, the three's up here. Wow. Or the three's down there, the two's up here. And they can't see it. Or it can be 3 and 2 and 4 all together. You know? And they'll be clapping in 5. You know, deal with that. Any more questions? So all of our music comes from, for me, the numbers. And that's how I think. Okay. Now, your husband's not here, no?
William's in Chicago.
In Chicago. So William has a thing against jazz musicians who play these patterns. You know, Trey played patterns, but people just play these patterns because they don't have anything to it. Okay, our dear friend David S. Ware, it's hard for me to even say his name, you know, but he talked about concepts, you know, concepts. And I said, what, you know, I said, yeah, David, because 40 years ago, he and I were talking about concepts. He said, what do you mean concepts, he would say? Well, he would not explain it to him, but I'm going to explain it to you, some of this to you. But I'll need some people to help me demonstrate a concept that I use very often. It's a patterning concept, and it's something I work with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, okay? And what I'm saying is these concepts, they should be for everyone, not just for adults who want to learn how to improvise. They're for everyone. So I need a, okay, here we got number one. Number one, I tell you what, you stay right there, number one. I'll find your bell. That sounds like a 1. Number 2.
Yes, sir.
That's what I like, respect. Yes, sir. Number 2. When I met y'all know Darius Jones? Yeah. Darius Jones, when he came to New York, he came out to hear my trio. And he was over at Zebulon. He stood by, after the gig, he stood by the PA system. And he had his alto on his back. I said, hello, how are you? He says, I'm fine, sir. I said, is that an alto? He said, yes, sir. I said, can you play that? He said, yes, sir. So I told my dear friend, see, you're fired. You know, so I hired Darius in my trio, the fire squad. Let me hear this. Don't let it ring, let it ring.
Did you hear him play before you hired him?
No! No, because he was respectful.
And then they told about a seat though.
No, I didn't know. No. You know, Ceph's my friend. And he has we're not going to talk about it. Because he's not only a friend, he's a dear friend. And I would wish him upon any of you as a friend. No, I would wish him. Sounds like it. Let me hear this. Ah! Come back here, come back here. Take that though, you little thief. Yes, you are. You stood on my bell. You want to play the bell?
Yes.
You want your mom? No, I want you to play. Yeah. Here, you have to be my bell player. You're number 4.
You can do this, come on.
Come on. Here, take that bell. Watch. Here. Hold it in this hand. Right here. No, you like it. Watch. Now take this stick. Take this one. Now hit it. Watch. Then give it back to me. You can't have it. No. I'm not. No. If you don't want to play, I'm not going to give it to you. And I'm bad, right? Am I bad? I'm not bad. that?
She's free.
Her mother let her go. Okay, you take that one. And you take this one. No, who did I give it to? Okay, then it's yours. All right. So, concept. Talk about a concept. Use this as a hair. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you got your numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you got to come up here. You have to stand up. You stand there.
Are you sure you don't want to do this?
No. You got to stay in line. Stay in line. You're 2, you're 3, you're 4, you're 5, and you're 6. It's too bad because you all can't see, but you're gonna have to get it. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's a concept. Here's a concept I call spiraling in. Spiraling in. It's a concept that in my trio we use when we play. Spiraling in. Okay. Why spiraling in? Because it's going to be 6, 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 3. You got it? But I'm a point and you play. Ready? Come on, come on. Here we go. That's spiraling in, starting from the outside. Wait a minute. Spiraling. Concept of spiraling in, starting from the low. Here we go. Look. You got the pattern? It's 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. Got the pattern? But in space, it's much easier to see it in space than to think in the numbers. So see it in space. So when I'm thinking of patterns, I see it in space. I'm not thinking numbers. Okay? And I'm looking at the whole piano keyboard. So when I'm spiraling in using the keyboard, I'm not thinking about individual notes. I'm thinking about how there's a cluster here, boom, 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 boom. Understand? Or spiraling out, which would be you can be in clusters, you can be in chords, you can be single notes. Okay, that's spiraling in, spiraling out. Okay, but when I'm teaching improvisation to young people, how do I teach them? I use patterns. Pattern 1, I say, this is A. Wait a minute. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play it. Okay, the retrograde is going to be 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is A. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is B. C is going to be spiraling in. 1, 6, 2, 4, 3, 4, I'm sorry. 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. Spiraling in. That's going to be C. The retrograde of C is spiraling out, beginning with the last tone, the bell that was played. Which was who played last? You played last? Great. Okay. Spiraling out, the retrograde of C. That's D. So, A, you got 4 patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4, and the retrograde 4, 3, 5, 2, 6, 1. Children learn these patterns, okay? They've got A, B, and C, okay? Now, they've got these patterns that they can jumble up, but they're thinking in patterns, okay? There's a D, a C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. How about this pattern? Come on, come on. The retrograde is what? Backwards. Play it backwards. My 3-year-old's doing well. Here we go. Do it again. Now all together. Again. Play it soft. Play. Thank you very much. That's just some concepts. I do it with the pentatonic bells, but you can do it with anything. You can do it with apples and oranges. You can do it with color when you talk about sequence. Okay? These are products of the tools that we use to create art, all kinds of art. Okay? Okay? You can do it with words, sequencing words the same way to come up with poetry. You know? The words don't have to be grammatical the way we know them. We can jumble the words. We can mix them up any kind of way we want. We can mix our colors. We can mix our patterns. We can sequence them. So that's how I think when I play. It's pretty much all visual. Okay. Patricia said that I create all the instruments that I play, other than piano. But there's something that I didn't create, but I created the concept of how to play. And these are drum heads, and they're pre-tuned heads, PT heads, pre-tuned Remo heads. They don't make them anymore, so wherever I go, whatever city I go to the music stores and drum shops and collect them, because there are not many around. And unamplified, you can hear how they sound, you know. And the concept came when Michael Wimley and I worked with Joan Miller up at Lehman College. And we played classes up there, and we played for a dance company. And I saw Michael and other guys, other drummers carrying around djembes and congas, and said, I've never had, other than Michael and a few other drummers, I don't think well of drummers. You know what I mean? These drummers they're kind of coarse people. They're the last to leave the club at night because they and they're carrying, they're lugging, always lugging. So, but some drummers are hip. Like Michael would never, I said, Michael, come work with me. Patricia was, no man, I'm not coming. I'm not carrying my drums downtown. But he just told me how to play with me now because I have a car. So Michael, not one of those. But this drum, this whole system is set up like a rim drum. But that's not how I play it. I saw a young Japanese man down at what was that place down on Hudson Street, up the street right here. Huh?
Knitting factory.
The old knitting factory?
The knitting factory, the old knitting factory. I saw this young man playing, maybe you know him, he was playing a snare drum on an angle on top of a tom, you know. But they had shells. And I said, I like that idea. Let's see what I can do. So you give me a moment to set up. But you can talk to me. You can ask me questions. Just, you got a question?
Listen, I'm not gonna even mess with you tonight because you're gonna mess with me worse. So I'm just gonna leave it alone and just say yes, 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 and
Well.
We have a history, you know what I'm saying?
What? We have a history. What do you mean? Don't people might get beat?
No, not that
I have a question.
Yeah. Miriam.
Little Miriam.
Miriam's my, I won't say, she's my favorite.
So as a dancer, I'm always curious about, and I've been thinking about this a lot, which is, because I kind of think that people act as though their bodies are just, their bodies are just dangling off of their brains, and that, what is your association when you play music between your mind and your body, the physicality and the...
Good, because, it's, I'm 60, I just turned 68, so I've been playing for 60 years. I mean, I've been studying for 60 years. And just the last 6 months, something has happened.
Yes.
Something has happened. And what has happened is the ease of focus that I have now at the piano. I don't know whether it's, like I was speaking here, whether it's my hormones have gone down so I can focus better, or whether it's because I'm practicing differently, or because I lost my dear friend David S. Ware, and now he's my guide. I think that's what it is. He's my guide. Because when I sit down now to play any music, when you thought I was asleep, I wasn't sleeping. I was talking to David. I was talking to David. Because what we understand is that it's always about those who've gone before us. That's what the music is about. We're not here because we discovered anything new. Somebody, we're on the shoulders of other people. Okay? Now, when I was 19 years old and I was at the Bohemian Cabbage, where I'm going to go in D.C., where I'm going to go next week, 19 years old, and I was listening to Miles Davis. Miles. And Miles finished the set. That's the band with Herbie and Tony and Wayne Shorter and Ron Hunt, right? Miles finished the set, and he walked off the stage, and he walked right by my little table about this round with a rum and coke and a flower and a candle, you know, the bar scene. And Miles put his horn bell down on my table. And you know, and he said, he was saying to me, you're one of the cats. You're one of the cats. Okay? You know, and you either believe it and go do the work, or go die sometime. Just get out of the way and die. All right? Because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You know, I've been blessed. I've been touched by those who have the gift. You know, who have the gift, and they've said, "You're one of the cats." I have a mentor and patron who said to me, he says, "Cooper Moore, you're one of the people where opportunity will come to you every day. Not everyone's like that, but opportunity will come to you every day. All you have to do is reach out and grab it." And that's been the case. That has been the case. Even when in my worst, lowest low, I can look back. I was talking to a friend of mine. In my lowest low, I can look back on it and say, I was having a good time. Because I was not there. You understand? I was just observing and learning from it. You know? It was a joy. So I'm going to play this. Would you grab that, move that out of the way? Let's see if I can play this and this, the way this is set up here. I don't know. I know. Let's move it over here. Yeah, baby. So, when I play these drums, I have some thoughts. My thoughts about drummers. The drummers I think of: Dennis Charles, Eddie Blackwell, and
Max Roach.
No, I don't think about Max Roach. He's a different. Who said Max Roach? Who said it? No, I don't think about Max Roach. Max Roach was different. He was really different. I think about like Art Blakey. Very different characters.
Tony Williams.
Who?
Williams.
I can't think about Tony. Because, and I'll show. So, the technique that I use is bass drum, snare drum, and also thinking of the snare as a hi-hat, using a mallet and a stick on the... Oh, go ahead. We're waiting. So I can go. Tie myself in because, you're talking about space travel now. Michael and I just played a funeral. We had to play a funeral for a Harlem gangster. Right? Recently. And Michael said, I'm getting too tired. He didn't want to tie himself, he didn't want to tie his djembe up. And I'm saying, no, Michael. No, man. I mean, I didn't say it to you directly, but I was saying, no, man. Play it as long as you can play it. Tie it on and play it. And you sound good, man. You sound good. The Harlem Gangsters, they are still a nice guy, too. Whole family. Whole family. In fact, the guitar player, I wish he'd be playing with me now. His son. Okay, here's cymbal, bass drum, hi-hat, snare drum. The other is Sonny Murray. Patricia?
Yeah,
What?
I want you to just, I want you to let
Oh, you don't want me to let loose.
well,
You're fabulous, thank you.
yeah. Let me just go a little bit. You know, it's not all instruction.
What?
It's not all instruction.
What?
Not all instructional.
What do you want to know? Ask the
I
question.
don't want to know, I want to,
I have a question here.
What drives you to this?
Well,
Or is it the sound you're hearing?
yeah, I'll tell you how it worked. I was living on Canal Street. I had a building there in 1973. 5-floor building. I moved all musicians in there. It was $550 a month for 5 floors. Okay? This was, you know, New York was broke. Nobody wanted to live here, but we wanted to live here. And we could afford it. And we lived here. And I was walking down Green Street. Walking down Canal and Green, and I found a bundle of wood. And I took it back and put it on the carpet on the 5th floor. And Jimmy Hobbs, the drummer, was living in the building. And he was living in a little room, okay? And in that little room, for heat, he had a hot plate with a brick on it, and he slept on a straw mat. And on the wall, this all he had was a map of Tokyo, because a woman had sent him a letter from Tokyo saying, Jimmy Hobbs, son, I think you're a wonderful drummer. I want to come live with you. Okay? A few months after she wrote that letter, you know, her father called him on Canal Street. He said, I'm sending my daughter so you can take care of her. And they moved in with one another, with Marshall Hawkins, a bass player, played with Miles for a bit. And an apartment in Capitol Hill, behind the Capitol, Washington. They lived there. And she came here and she studied at American University. Okay. But when he was about to go into his little space, walked by my bundle of wood. Never stopped walking. He was walking. And he said, that's your future. And went on in his room and shut his door. And started doing his yoga. And I, that day, built my first instrument. Because you understand, he was a master and a shaman. You know, world Sufi, traveled the world. And at the time he was playing with Music Incorporated with Charles Tolliver and Susan McBee and who was it?
Stanley Cowell?
He was the drummer. And who?
Stanley Cowell?
It's Stanley Cowell, yeah. But he was also playing with Pharaoh. Okay? But he decided he didn't want to play with Pharaoh anymore. You know, he wanted to go somewhere else. He wanted to go to Mexico or someplace. He just left. But he was the one who inspired me to build my first instrument because he said, that's your future. And when people like that talk, you listen to them. Okay? Because they don't live like the most people, the normal people. You know? When I knew him, he played at my first wedding I had. And he was playing this, he played in a bar. Okay? He played in a bar. It was like, it was a bar for freaks. We were all freaks, you know. It was a transvestite bar, but it was a place where we could play and hang and be free, okay? And we used to say, daytime people are freaks. Because, you know, we didn't go to bed until after the sun was up. And we didn't want to see the sun. We didn't come out till around 6 or 7 at night in the evening, you know. But we were the night people. I'm still the night people. You understand? That's who I am. I don't want to be out in the street in the daytime unless I have to. You know? But Jimmy Hobbs inspired me to build. Okay? But not only that, because you understand, David S. Ware and Mark Edwards and I, we all came to New York together. David and Mark went for Cecil Taylor. I didn't have a band. I'm a piano player. I don't have a band. I can't play in Cecil's band. And I was depressed. And Jimmy Hobbs came to me every day. He would make tea and say, tea is on. And I'd get out of my loft bed and I sat with him in the kitchen all day long. He was my counselor. He was my therapist. And he said, you have there's another vision for you. There's another destiny for you. And he helped open up my imagination. And we would play on glasses, play music, we would sing, make up songs. We would take magic markers and just draw all day. And because we didn't have enough money to buy a reefer, we smoked sage. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to play, I have a flute, I'm going to play flute. He said, oh, good, because we need a flute player in the orchestra. If you, at the end of the semester, next semester, if you're good enough, I'll give you full scholarship. I said, okay, I can do that, you know. And my flute teacher, most wonderful person. You never know, you really never know. Her name was Dorothy Skidmore, and her specialty was 20th century flute repertoire. You know, clicks and spits and grunts and all out, totally out. So, but back then, you're supposed to go to Berklee School of Music, okay? And in the Berklee School of Music literature, it said that if I went to Berklee, I would be studying with a man named Kincaid, who was the first flautist in the Boston Symphony Orchestra, BSO. So she said to me, and her teacher was Jean-Pierre Rampal. Okay, so the lineage is there. Why am I leaving her to go to this cat? You know? So I go to Berklee thinking I'm going to be studying with Kincaid. It wasn't Kincaid. It was Nick Kazazzi who played tenor in Stan Kenton's band and doubled on flute. And he was like I am now, totally deaf in one ear and half deaf in the other. So when we would play duets, we'd have to stop because of his mistakes. So, you know, so I quit Berklee after the first semester, and you know, I got an F in flute, but I got an A in everything else. And I was a protest. I said, I come here to study with you. Give me this person. This is not fair. I don't want to study with you. Well, what was your question? Any more? Because I'm getting hungry. Yeah, man. Michael Wimberly?
Yeah. Well, one of your other instruments was the whole harp. Can you tell us?
The whole handle harp?
Whole handle harp.
We want to know about it. I did, you know, I know it's taking the cab and carrying. I like to have brought it because it's very beautiful. It's a harp. It's a 21-string harp, and I built it from the body of my first instrument, one of my first instruments that it came back to me. You know, I make instruments and I give them to people, and this particular instrument came back, and I said, my sister-in-law said, will you fix it for me? I said, no. You didn't take care of it. I'm not going to fix it and give it back to you. You broke it. My baby's come home to me. It's mine. Back home. But I took that instrument and built the horizontal whole handle harp. After I'd seen a man named Jesse Passau, who was a Brazilian, playing a Paraguayan harp at a function called Law Day in Washington, D.C. And Jesse Passau set his harp, it was about a 4-foot harp, set it on a stool, and he had a hat, and he had the poncho, and he could just play that. He was a player. And I said, I want a harp. So I went up to a place called the Harp Store on Connecticut Avenue. And I said, I want a Paraguayan harp. He says, okay, $5,000. I said, well, no, thank you. So I went home, and I had a hoe handle that I had broken in my garden in mowing tomatoes. And it broke, but the handle was brand new, so I put it next to my bed. And this is true. And every night before I go to sleep, I said, hoe handle, what are you going to be? You talk about magic, right? But Jimmy Hopps talked about magic. What is magic? Okay? Imagination, magic. Hoe handle, what are you going to be? Now wake up in the morning, hoe handle, what are you going to be? And one day it said, I want to be a harp. It said to me, I want to be a harp. And I built that harp. It took me 4 hours to build it. It cost me $8. And it's made me thousands of dollars. I was playing the harp 4 years ago in Central Park, and this old gentleman comes by and says, that's beautiful. I said, yeah, it's beautiful. He says, I want to put you in my movie about Central Park. I said, well, okay, I'll be here Thursday. So he didn't come by. He came back the following Monday. He said, I'm sorry, that's not what I really want. I want you to do the music for my movie. So I just finished it. Thousands and thousands of dollars. Just because he heard me play the harp. And I just saw him today. He was at Mount Sinai. His name is Birnbaum. Come on. Senior moment, Michael. Don't get old, Michael. I mean, live, but don't get old. Martin Birnbaum. So Martin, he's 85 years old. So my band, my trio with Pascal Knight-Kemper and Brian Price played his birthday party back in April. He was 85, okay? A month later, he was walking in the street. He fell and broke his neck. And since then, he's been dying. So then, today I saw him. I went to the hospital, you know. He says, Coopermore, they know what's wrong with me. I'm not going to die. I have a blood clot in my brain. They're going to dissolve it, and I'm going to be able to walk again. And I hope it's true, because he's one of the great cats, you know. But the whole handled harp, made from fishing line, okay, and scrap wood, pretty much scrap wood for $8. Any more questions? I'm getting hungry. No, one more question.
I do. I want to know more about your gods.
My who?
Your gods.
My God?
Your gods, yeah. More
talk
about your
about
gods.
your
What do they like? What do they eat?
My God?
Your gods.
Okay, now let's talk about this. You want to talk about this?
What do they like? What do you call them?
My God.
How do you
Okay,
please
no,
them?
see, God, that's all the, well, my God, I don't have a God. I don't have a God. That's the clearest thing I can say. You know. I like truth. I like truth, so I guess I like science. It's the closest to my thinking about religion and that stuff. It's truth and science. And
No, I'm not asking about religion.
what'd you ask me?
I'm asking you about your gods.
God, G-O-D.
G-O-D-S.
3 to 4.
Gods. I don't.
You used the expression a few minutes ago.
I did? What did I say? What did I say? Huh?
You said David is your God.
You talking about ancestors? You said you were talking about ancestors.
I don't know. I may have said anything. I said a lot of stuff. Come on, I'm getting hungry, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I hope that y'all get a chance to hear Coopermore's music playing for a long time, because it's amazing. What he has, his stories that he's been telling and all he's been showing you, is a gift to all of us. So thank you, Coopermore,
Thank
for
you,
it.
Tricia.
And, you know, he has lots of stories he could tell you.
Well, you know, I grew up in a place where you couldn't say somebody told a lie, but someone told a story. So you can believe me, my stories, if you want. If they help you, believe it, you know.
So if you came late, I'd love to get your information. There's more wine, there's mochi ice cream, and all kinds of glorious ice cream flavors.
I
There's
really
lots
want
of
to
people. Yeah, and
let's thank Philip Malcolm.
thank you, Philip.
I'm good with dogs. What's his name? Dylan?
Taking care of you.
Okay.
Thank you.